And welcome to everybody that is investigating what we're up to over here at Envirosoft. As Jessica said, I'm going to go through a few slides about what Envirosoft does, where we're going, our roadmap, etc. And I'll give you a quick view of our platform. And from there, if anything we've built there is of interest, obviously let us know. For those existing partners checking us out, obviously it might be a good opportunity just to be clear on where we're going and maybe some of the features and functionality that you might not be using at this point in time. So without further ado, let's get started and introduce Envirosoft. So we're basically trying to help you deliver the future of IT support experience. And what we're calling our platform as we go into 2023 is a unified MSP software platform. We did start out creating really the customer experience category. Uh, Prior to us actually launching CX, or customer experience wasn't even spoken about at all. So we've worked really hard to bring that to the table, and of course now there's a few competitors in our category, which is a good thing, and it's starting to really take off. And more MSPs are starting to focus on that. But interestingly, in our journey, we actually ended up building a lot of functionality that the market wanted us to do, and we looked at that and realized we're starting to compete in other categories of software. Hence why, while CX is really important as the foundation of our platform, we're starting to coin what we do here as a unified MSP platform. So if you're looking at Envirosoft and considering whether or not this might be right for you, we do actually have a very simple process of reviewing our platform. You can watch a demo or book a demo, which is actually what you're going to be seeing today in a cut down version. And then, if you like what you see, just book in a trial with Jessica and the team, and we'll basically set up a trial for you. It takes only a few minutes to connect your PSA and Azure AD, so you can actually look at everything that we do. And from there, you'll be in a good position to review what we're doing. And then we just book in a follow-up call to find out what you'd like to do. So it's a really simple process, and we try and take that effort away from you having to slog it out trying to work out how to use something like this. So just a bit of a history about me. So I actually started an MSP in 2000 when I was 22. It's called eNerds. Check it out, eNerds.com.au, and have bludgeoned that business into a $10 million MSP, and we're still growing. So I still have that the MSP and still scaling it, but I grew it to a size where I could do something else in that sense. So in 2010, we actually did build some internal customer experience software. So we were trying to get away from what we call the Nokia approach. And the Nokia approach of IT, mouse pads and stickers with your phone number and email address on it. So we were trying to improve productivity, trying to improve customer experience, and all these sorts of things. Well, it was so successful that in about 2014-15, I decided that I don't understand why the market's not focusing on customer experience. At the end of the day, the customer is the one that pays the bills. Why wouldn't you want to keep them happy? Why would you want to have an archaic analog style of interaction? Why not have a digital style? Everything is an app these days, and that's what we thought we could help the market with in terms of digitizing the IT support experience and making it more efficient and better, essentially. So we launched Envirosoft end of 17, and we've been growing and evolving since then. And it's been a really crazy, interesting journey building all this technology that the market is told us that they want. So it's been a great one. So, what is the problem that we actually solve? So, most people come to us for one of these reasons. They're trying to improve their customer experience. So, get away from that Nokia experience. A vCIO process they're trying to improve. There's a lot of tools out there. We have one of those platforms in place. We do it a bit differently. I actually think the biggest problem with the QBR vCIO process is that it doesn't lead to a tremendous amount of sales, or it's not focused on sales. It's more about compliance and showing that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but there really is little to no focus in any of the systems that are out there in terms of helping you get buyers making buying decisions. So a lot of people get frustrated with the complexity of that, and they're looking for alternatives. The big pain points, of course, around productivity. This is around ticketing. So every time you get a ticket with the wrong ticket information, you have to play a ping pong match to get that information, or you actually have to do PSA administration. So you have to tag the ticket type, subtype, and you've got to think about the 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes that your engineers waste every single time a digital ticket comes through. So your email tickets around that. So they're trying to improve productivity there. The next two, increasing stack costs and too many vendors to manage. That's definitely something that a lot of MSPs are getting frustrated with. There's a lot of MSP tools. We're no different, I guess, but what we've realized is the market wants to have more tools in the one platform rather than having to pay the same amount for a series of different tools. So we can obviously help there. And the slow revenue growth piece, that's where MSPs are, the innovative ones are looking to differentiate their services. They're tired of turning up to sales meetings and realizing that they actually don't say anything different in those meetings. Have a think about when you get in there and you're pitching for new business. What are you actually saying that's any different to these other MSPs? At the end of the day, everyone's saying, oh, we do Microsoft and we do all the services you need, and our engineers are amazing and we're great. Okay, that's great. That's what everybody's saying. So, how can you visually demonstrate that you have a better service offering? And customer experience is one of those areas. And you've got to remember that this is still a new category. This is something that you guys can absolutely exploit in a sales sense to differentiate yourself, because it's still starting out, and it's still, despite the fact there's a few competitors there, it's definitely not the dominant category yet. But it will be, as more and more people realize that at the end of the day, you've got to listen to your customers, you've got to deliver a modern experience. So in terms of the solution, this is where we're going. So this will be of interest to our existing partners. Obviously, anybody listening that's not using us yet. We're building, to solve all these problems, a unified MSP software platform. So one platform, 5 products, and 20 plus MSP tools. So this is a bit of an insight into where we're going and what our roadmap looks like. So we already have customer experience as a platform. We've got vCIO, which is a really solid vCIO platform. Lots more to do in that area, but there's one area I'll show you today quickly, which we do the best, and it is around sales, and I think that's kind of the most important thing. And you've got CSAT as well. We're about to launch our version 2 of the CSAT functionality. So anybody using a CSAT tool, you can really start to combine it into this platform. And the 2 that we're about to launch that will make up the 5 is our scheduling software. So if you've ever heard of TimeZest, we'll be the second vendor in the market to provide you with essentially Calendly functionality. So that's what engineer scheduling is all about. It's really cool software. If you don't know about what the guys at TimeZest had done, and we were pushed by partners, why don't you build that into your platform? It just makes sense to have it there. We agreed. It is all about integrating with your Azure AD Office 365. And what it does, related to a ticket, you can basically say, okay, I need to book a time in with this user, and it'll check your calendar, their calendar, send the user appropriate gaps in both of your calendars. The user will be able to click on the option that they want, the time option they want. It will then send a meeting invite to both of you and update the ticket with the details accordingly. So that's really cool. We are working on our warranty piece at the moment. Both of these, scheduling and warranty, it's a Q1 goal to get those out the door. They're pretty much done. We're just sort of fine tuning them. The warranty side of things, though, we were just making sure that we could get access to the HP warranty API. For those of you that are aware, we all know that it's a bit of a nightmare. The API for HP is just not a public one that you have. So you have to go through a bit of a rigmarole to get access to it. I think we're almost there. We've had a series of meetings with the HP globally, the team globally. So that's looking really, really good. And we're looking to integrate the warranty information all through our platform. So those 2 with a little green circle around them, they're coming, and that's going to make up the 5 products. So where are we actually going to go from here in terms of products? The goal is actually to have 8 products. So the next one will be backup. So you'll be able to do your backup monitoring inside our platform. After that, we will do dashboards. So the what you see with Bright Gauge and MSP Bot, similar to those types of things, we'll be bringing that into the platform. And the final piece of the puzzle, which we will start working on sooner rather than later, is our AI and automation piece. We did a great survey recently and got some really interesting feedback from our existing partners of what we could do in this area. Interestingly, the two areas that popped out the most was, of course, setting up Office 365 users and updating all the systems in that sense. That's obviously a popular one. The second one was actually to have a chat bot, so a triage bot, if I could use that terminology. So we already have chat in our system. And the next extension of that, of course, is where a user could click on it, open up a chat, and essentially the AI bot will be able to triage that ticket. Hey, what type? What subtype? Did you mean this? How about this piece of documentation? Have you checked that? Okay, this could be a solution, or I'll escalate this to an actual engineer. So there is nothing like that in the MSP space, and so that is where we're going as a platform. So essentially, we'll end up having 8 products and of course all these different tools that are a part of that that you can use in your platform. And as you can see in the circle there, you've got surveys, and web forms is really popular for onboarding and offboarding, live chat, identity security. For those that are already using the platform, we're about to release a new version of our IT control panel with a few more features around live chat, etc., a few fixes and enhancements, etc. So we've got self-service bots, push alerts, huge. Office 365 was down again, I think, the other day. Teams was down in Q3, 4 last year. So being able to send push alerts to people, let them know there's outages, it's massive. Automation with some of the support tools you can have in our platform, you'll see all of that today. So really getting a lot of bang for buck, and we're trying to position our product as being really well priced. So essentially you can start to remove all these other platforms. And we're doing this all so that you can deliver that future of IT support experience. So if you're have a think about what you're doing now, for those that are new to Envirosoft or to CX in general in this way, are you still a Nokia phone and email MSP? Or are you wanting to go to the next level, which is to fade away email and replace it with a customer experience or a unified platform like this? So the way to get the utilization of these platforms is absolutely to fade email away. That's the bad guy in this situation. A lot of MSPs and a lot of you listening might go, "Oh, I don't want to get rid of email." You're not actually getting rid of it. You leave it on. You're just saying to the customer that moving forward, if it's urgent, you call, and if it's not urgent, you use the app client portal experience. They don't care. They're both digital. It's actually easier than email. And a lot of people might be thinking, "Oh, well, but that, I know, Jamie, your partners might be different from mine, and I know that there's some that will be frustrated by that, etc., etc." No, they won't. No, that's just not how it works. Because what you've got to think about is that we are already in an app economy. We're already in a digital economy. Everyone, I don't care how old they are turning up to work with an iPhone or an Android device, and they're using apps for everything. So replacing email, which is the most archaic way of interacting, really is just not much of an issue. The only issue you've got is to make sure that they can find it, which is why you have it on the desktop. It's why they don't need to log into it, and it's why we have all the training bots and all that sort of jazz. So if you want to get the utilization, you want to go to the next level in your MSP around productivity. My MSP gets 50 to 60, probably averages closer to 60% of our workflow through this application and tool, and we've had that for 13 years, benefiting from the productivity challenges that we all have around ticketing as MSPs. And ticketing is the one thing that nobody ever talks about, that is just the most busy aspect of any MSP. We get flogged to death with ticketing. So why on earth would you want to have inefficiency around ticketing, getting the incorrect information every time? That's the way you got to start to change your mindset around what that future of IT support experience actually looks like for your customer and for you in terms of getting the right information. So as I alluded to before, there's more products. So the backup monitoring, we are building vCIO assessments into our platform. Push ticket updates, it's been on there for a while, kept getting bumped a few times. And that's the idea of when a ticket's updated, we'll use our push technology to pop up notifications to people, dashboards, AO and automation, and of course the SMS broadcasting and security. So that's still there. It's been there for a wee while, and we will get to that this year, which is exciting. So why would you even consider a platform like this? These are the main reasons. You're trying to differentiate, which will help you convert more deals. This is a bit of a pet peeve of mine in the industry. I feel like it doesn't get spoken about a lot. A lot of the sales coaching you get is all about getting more leads, but there just isn't a tremendous amount of, uh, I guess, coaching around conversion. Right? If you actually want to scale, yes, you need to get more leads. There's no doubt about it. But when you get in front of a customer, you need to actually convert more deals, ideally, to help you grow faster. If you're only getting 1 out of 4, and you can increase that to 2 out of 4 each month, in that sense, or for every 4 leads you get, then you've essentially doubled your growth rate from going from 1 to 2 out of 4. Right. So it doesn't get spoken about. And these are the sorts of things. If you've ever read the book Purple Cow, you want to be mindful of that, which is how am I going to differentiate my services? What story am I going to tell them about how we've invested in our services and we want to take away the darkness of IT support, and all these other old MSPs are just Nokia phone and email, but we do it differently. These are the sort of things they remember when they leave. It's not just that. There's a few things you need to do in your support proposals, the questions you ask at the start, how you price and package. Do you talk about what it looks like after they've engaged with you? There's a lot of different things you can do, but certainly the one thing they get is the thing that they're going to think about. Oh, okay, I get mouse pads and stickers. Oh no, I get this beautiful client portal and all this visibility, and et cetera, et cetera. That's memorable. You can't deny that that's not memorable, and it's why we keep beating so many MSPs all the time. And we'll continue to keep bidding because we focus on this. It's why my MSP, with no real investment, has been scaling past 10 million, and we'll keep going because we win more deals than we lose every year. And we understand these types of things. We understand that productivity is important and saving that time around tickets. Improving CX, so getting more referrals, visible value. As you get bigger, you just get more referrals. If your service is modern, it's good, it works really well, you'll get more referrals. It's just this thing that keeps going. Better communication, this is one of the values. So live chat, push, client and ticket portal visibility. Have a think about it. Are you trying to improve that? Increase security with identity management, secure messaging. You've probably got tools out the side. What about having it all on the one platform to do that? Communicating with the user, improved account management and sales with the vCIO platform, and reducing stack costs and complexity. So have a think about what you might want to get. If you're going to invest in a platform like Envirosoft or anybody like this, these are the things that you should be getting at the other end of it, and certainly are very important in terms of scaling your MSP. So, how do we differentiate in the market? Well, we really do focus on the desktop app and client portal experience, right? When you put them together, they look schmick, it's matching your branding. You can customize the color scheme to whatever you want. And the whole idea is to have something simple here with the app, and then you have all the detail and everything else you need in the actual portal. And remember, if you're thinking, oh, but the PSA portal does some of this, great. Have a look at your tickets and see how many people are actually using it. I can almost guarantee it'll be mostly phone and email and a tiny amount your PSA portal. Doesn't matter how good that portal is, it's because behaviorally the user can't find it. They can't find it. Where is it? And when they do find it, they don't know how to log into it. This is the behavioral thing that this category should be solving, is putting it in where they can use it, apps on desktop, mobile, Teams, etc. Which is the next point. We're across all devices. We've building these products to be the same or better than the standalone solution. We'll always try and put the Envirosoft innovation across it. We'll listen to the market and we'll keep adding all those functionalities so that you can come to us and go, well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to go over there and have all these different tools because in one platform with Envirosoft, I can get all the same quality. So we're not trying to build a jack of all trades, master of none. It's really important for us to be focused and continually building out this feature set so that it is better that the off the shelf. We're number one in utilization for sure. That's because of the design of our app, training bots, and that we understand that you do have to fade away email. If you don't fade away email, the best you're ever going to get from something like this is 33, 33, 33%. It just is what it is, right? Take it away, conceptually move all those email tickets over to something like this. Boom. Now you're getting the perfect ticket every time with all the data you need. And that's where you get the utilization. But our training bots are really cool. I'll quickly show you those. Number one in tech tools, we're building out the live chat identity security. It's already there. This is this app here called IT Control Panel, and it enables you to do all of those bells and whistles. And this is easy to set up and manage. So you might go, Jesus, Jamie, that's a lot of functionality. How on earth am I going to set that up? Well, most of it's out of the box. IT Control Panel just works, all of that, those functions. When you do a trial, it's all templatized. It's pretty much ready to go. For those partners that have been with us for a while, yeah, they probably didn't have that experience all those years ago. But these days, we've templatized a lot of things and we're able to just get it going almost immediately. It's why the trial only takes 30 minutes. And interesting, it is patented technology in the USA. So I'll reiterate the point again. It's easy, plug and play. It's all templatized. It really doesn't take a long time to get going. And we've got a really solid onboarding process. So if you're looking at thinking, oh, okay, great, you can set it up, but how do we get onboarded? There really is only 3 steps. Step one, the app and the client portal. Step two is IT control panel and deployment. And then optionally, if you want to get stuck into the vCIO platform at this point, that's another hour of training to get you going there. So again, trying to templatize everything, even on the vCIO side as well. And we've got a dedicated team there to help you go through that process. So let's have a quick look at the software and go from there. So this is the app on the desktop. We've also got it inside Teams. I should have had that up ready to go. So I'll bring Teams over here. And so you've got the Teams app and you've actually got the native app there. You've got mobile as well. And so the big difference between these two, for example, is the app has all of our functionality. Obviously, it's our own agent, it's our own app. We can do what we want with it. With Teams, it's more of a web page. So it's a little bit more cut down, but they can log tickets. They can access the client portal and do all of that stuff inside the Teams app. The great thing about the Teams app is that you can download it from the App Store um, into your client's tenancy and then pin it to their app, and then it's done. So it's really fast to deploy. The agent itself super fast. I mean, you just need to use your RMM to deploy it, but it does have all the bells and whistles there. So let's focus on the app, and this is something that I like to show people is the training bot experience. And so this is where, when you first roll this out, your users will get this welcome. Hey, welcome to my MSP. This is my exciting app client portal experience. You can do all these amazing things. Click here to read more. That's a push notification that pops up on the screen. So essentially, you've spoken to each of your main contacts, told them what's happening. You can send a templatized email out to the users, and you've got your push training bots as well. So they suddenly get this modern pop up explaining your services, and then it goes through to your cool page inside the portal. You can put videos in here. You can do whatever you want. The ones that are more evolved at doing this, they'll put videos in here and just make that more interesting. You can actually buy a video, and this is an example of a video that I've had for 13 years. So when you come on a webinar like this, you're trying to learn a few gold nuggets here or there of how you can actually improve your services and your business. This is one of the things we've had for a long time. Have a little video. It looks cool. It makes you look like you're way bigger than you are. And you show the client when you're trying to sign them up, hey, and when we sign you up, we've got these training bots, we've got this video. And they're just like, whoa, okay, you've really invested in this. And it's just ramming home the points of the services you have, your hours of operation, and to call, if it's urgent, call. And if it's not, um, log a ticket via the app. So this would have your full branded app in here showing them how to do it, that sort of jazz. So that's the training bot experience. The cool thing is that you get the first one pop up, and then you can have a reminder after whatever period of time you want, 15 days, 30 days, whatever it is. Hey, just reminding you to use it so that those users are aware of how you interact. And this is how you just make sure you drive that utilization. If you take an email off the table anyway, that's where you're essentially just shifting it over. And then once they actually log their first ticket, you actually get a little thank you note. Hey, thanks so much for logging the ticket. Let us know what you like about it. This is not supposed to be a survey. This is supposed to just be a nice little feel good thing when they've logged that first ticket. So again, when you think about what you're doing now, where it's just email, and then you compare it to what my MSP and all of our partners are actually doing in this regard, you can see that it's a future of IT support experience. This is the modern way of actually doing it. And so if I look at the app and actual client portal together, you'll see this is the step up in the service experience. This is when you show it to customers. They're like, oh, wow, okay, cool. So the app's there to just do the basic stuff. And then I can come in here to see all the other things that I want to see. right? This is what customers are actually looking for, they're crying out for, and what you need in terms of that efficiency. So let's look at logging a ticket. It's going to sync your ticket types from the PSA. PSA is still the master. The cool thing is you can layer over the top self-service bots. So you can either just have a note in here, or you can have links to articles in IT Glue or links to articles in our system. The whole idea is to stop those unnecessary tickets. So instead of those ones where a reboot would fix it or something simple, put the instructions in here. They can read it. Great, and you should be able to stop about 5 to 10% of those unnecessary tickets coming through. So you wouldn't have something like this on every ticket type, but we all know there's ones there that, oh man, I'll just put that self-service bot there and that should solve the issue. And this is what you call embedded self-service. This was copied from Zendesk, as opposed to thinking that users are going to click some other button over there and figure out their problems. Just remember, they're not technical like you. They're not going to do that. They don't want to do that. You have to embed it in the ticket logging process, and that's how you get them to use it. You can also have ticket forms. So this pops up. This is where you can get additional information from users. It could just be a couple of extra questions about the printer, or it could be a full new user request. You can make it compulsory. You can have help questions in here, all that sort of stuff. You can do whatever you want and have that going through. So if we skip that, the other part you can have is the approvals. So you can set up approval rules really easily. The user can actually knows that there's an approval there for that particular ticket, and the approvers get a nice branded email from you saying, hey, this user's tried to log this ticket. Can you approve or decline it? So you can get all of that functionality inside here. You can optionally have affected user and priority. You can take a screenshot of the issue, you can attach a file, and they type it in and go to log the ticket. So the cool thing is when they log that ticket, you're getting the full device diagnostics of the system. And so now you're essentially getting the perfect ticket compared to what you're getting now, which is not really the perfect ticket. And so just to see what it looks like without all the bells and whistles, type, subtype, type something in, done. Now you cannot tell me that's harder than an email. Open it up, click the log ticket button, and log the ticket. It's easy peasy. It's why the utilization is so high. So there's the ticket logging experience. You've also got news where you can flick that through and have a default across all clients, or have it for certain clients. And I should say that our branding, the buttons, the news, and these apps here can be configured per partner, per client, per agent, per user in that sense. So the apps is really cool. This is where you can actually have the automation side of things. So a lot of our partners, because you can do command line, app path lookup, RDS Citrix, and URL, you can have 2 rows of 6, then it scrolls. Because of the command line, a lot of our partners are putting their support tools in here. So when you're on the phone, you can say, just open up my app, click here, flush DNS, IP test, whatever it happens to be, open CMD. You can do all of that in there. You can also put access to their apps. These are just link outs. And the reason why you might want to do that is because it makes it stickier, but it's also, at these days, we all know when you're setting up a device, you've got the browser bookmark apps, and then you've got the apps that are still on the desktop itself. So it's a bit messy, and this is where you can neat and tidy it. So if we have a look at the client portal, this is where you can come in and actually customize whatever you want. So when you look at the Envirosoft client portal, if you're looking at this category and you're like, oh, which way should I go? How we've done it differently is that we've developed the client portal kind of like a WordPress in that sense. So essentially, you can customize the look and feel of this to whatever you like in that sense. You can have whatever menu. This is just an example. You can label them whatever you want, have drop downs for whatever you want, and that's the benefit. It's not just stuck in stone. You can do whatever you want. And if I go into the back end, just to give you an example, this is our easy to use portal. This is the actual client portal here. I just click edit. You can make it the default, and you can see there it's kind of like a WordPress menu builder system in that sense. A lot of the stuff is just built into the system. A lot of it, remember, will be templatized when you trial it, so you don't need to set it all up, and it's ready to go. So it's super easy to use in that sense. And so as we go, we've got the ticket view here, where this is doing a live sync of the tickets from the actual PSA. You can actually then come through, and the user can then click on the ticket and actually see what the status of that ticket is. We're going to be doing a lot of work for those existing partners. We're going to do more and more work on the ticketing portal side of things in Q1. We're calling it kind of Project Ticket Portal Sexy or something, just so you can do more configuration with it, change columns, add columns, and do all that sort of stuff. So we'll be doing more there. But the whole idea is that the user can either go through the portal or they can click the My Tickets button and it'll go straight. You've got the ability to have the approvals in here. You've got service catalog. This is one of the most popular pieces of the software. Again, for those new partners, existing partners, you can actually now have a button. This was released late last year. If you missed it, you can actually just put a button here that goes straight to these service catalog pages. This is where you can have your onboarding, offboarding forms. It's where you can have forms to order devices, whatever you want. It gets logged straight as a ticket into the ticketing system, so you can get exactly what you want. You've got the forms there, and it will come in. You can have attachments, you can sign off, all that sort of stuff, straight through to the actual system, to the PSA, which is fantastic. And you can have service catalogs for whatever you want, and build it out. Again, you'll have a couple of these as a templated example when you do a trial. So with the My Network side of things, this is again one of the most popular sides of the platform. This is where, with our Azure AD integration, you can actually have reports in here for the customer on demand. Can you do a report on demand at the moment if they ask you what licensing they have for Office 365? We all know that's a pain to actually generate and then send through to the customer. Why bother? That's just time waste. Have a link in here where they can just do it themselves. So you can do the overall licensing, you can do the users, and that's again doing a live sync of Azure AD to bring up the data. This is going to bring up all the software that each of the users use, and so on. One of the things that is also being launched this quarter is our Microsoft Secure Score reporting. So we're just tidying it up at the moment. We had full access to the API, got all the data, and we're just tidying it up so that the data there is the data you actually want to show to a customer. And you won't need to do anything. You just add it to your menu, and all these three here and the Office, the Secure Score will can be part of the vCIO platform as well. So essentially, with the Secure Score, you just drop it in and they'll be able to see that information. With the desktops and laptops, this is where you can have a report of the actual devices they have. This is where, obviously, when we finish our warranty functionality, you have all the warranty information against each device as well. You'll be able to tag them yellow and red and have alerts. This is an example here where you can actually configure the alerts based on BIOS age, disk free, and RAM at the moment. Obviously, warranty will be another one, and you can have a warn and fail configuration there that pops up. So again, at their fingertips, on-demand device reports. Customers have full visibility of what's going on in their environment. And you can really build out whatever you want. That's an example of a speed test. You can link that in the portal. You could link that in the app. Do whatever you want there. So the knowledge base, this is where you can have a knowledge base. Again, out of the box, you're going to get these two. This is the Office 365 one. So if I search for PowerPoint, you can search on it, you can come in and watch a video, you can put in here whatever you want. So you can have these more of a service catalog style knowledge base. Again, these two you get out of the box, or you can have more of a free flowing page if you want to. If you just need to build out articles for customers and you want to have it in the client portal, you can do that, or you could link out to IT Glue articles if you want to as well. So you can do whatever you want there. One of the cool features is you've got the staff directory here as well. So this is where you can actually, for larger clients, your smaller ones probably won't care, but for really big ones, they can search on users. This is syncing Office 365 information. They'll be able to send an email and do a Teams chat to the user. If the data is there for that user, it'll obviously come up in these boxes. You can put feedback in here with the CSAT, or you can do whatever you want in that regard. So the whole idea of this platform is to give you that one pane of glass, with a customer the one pane of glass, and for you to just reduce all those 1%ers around. For ticketing is huge, and also even for that on-demand reporting. Some of the other cool features is that you've got sentiment analysis. This is huge. This is huge. Never gets spoken about because it's just one of those little features that you have in platforms like this. But what sentiment analysis actually does is it searches for keywords and phrases and then alerts you if they get triggered. So it's kind of like your Outlook rules. So essentially in here, you can have ASAP, urgent, frustrated, and then it'll send off an email to maybe a team leader or service desk leader or whoever it is, and you can change the priority or the ticket type if you want to. Now this little piece of technology we've had as well for 13 years, and it's saved our bacon so many times. How many times do you tell a user, hey, call me if it's urgent, please? And they go, they then log it via email. This is urgent. And it's just this roundabout thing. So you want to be alerted to that because it gets ahead of the frustration curve. This is where we've got the CSAT platform as well. So it's super easy to set up your actual CSAT surveys. You've got all the reporting in here as well across the board. And in our next version, it's going to be fully integrated with the PSA, which will get us to parity for what the other tools are actually doing there. So anybody using it, our platform and using CSAT, when we launch that, have a think about it. You might be able to save some money monthly in that regard. And the other thing as well that's really popular is our smart engineer bots that I just wanted to show you. So if you're not using them, I definitely consider it. My MSP went to town on this. This is where you can set up notes in the PSA based on ticket type and by client. So essentially, if a client has you've just updated a new user form for a client, let's say it's Apple, and you go, cool, I'm going to do a smart engineer bot to let my engineers know that that document has been updated and have a link to that document in the ticket. So when that client logs that new user request, the engineer gets the link to the article. Could be an IT glue, could be in our system, so they can go straight there. That's why we called it Smart Engineer, because it saves time and it's perfect for new staff. It's perfect for level ones. So, or anybody if they've just forgotten something. Imagine you've got a client that's angry and you just want to go and you make sure you do this quickly or whatever it happens to be. So Smart Engineer, having notes in the tickets based on ticket type and client is super cool, super useful. So I just wanted to quickly show you our vCIO side of things, and then I'll show you IT control panel, which you'd think I would have got organized for a webinar to actually turn that on, but I'll turn that on now. Whilst that's loading, so let's have a look at the vCIO side of things. So you actually do have the ability to have a full vCIO platform inside Envirosoft. So you can do audits and presentations, and this is where you configure that in the system. So if we look at the front end first, this is where you go through and you can actually uh, do the presentation. Once you've done an audit of a customer in our system, you can do a presentation. So I'll quickly show you this and I'll give you my little sermon of why I think all the other VCO tools have somewhat lost the plot in terms of what you actually need to do in terms of this situation. And what I'm meaning is that in my personal view, the VCAO, QBR, TBR, roadmap, whatever you want to phrase it, it should be broken up conceptually into two components. One is the audit, the assessment, and showing your technical acumen. That's where most of the tools focus, and it should be at least 50%. There's no doubt about it. But the other side should be 50% helping customers make decisions. So the sales side of it. That is where all the VCO tools in the market are super skewed to producing a lot of information. It's good to get all that information. Don't get me wrong. And we're going to be doing our best, as I said earlier, to make sure we tick all the same boxes as every other VCO tool. You can see we already have a lot of automated on-demand reporting in our system, and we'll continue to work on that. So, but you still need to help customers make decisions. And I'll explain how that doesn't work when you do it the other way. So with our system, you can produce kind of like a hybrid between a Word document presentation and a PowerPoint presentation. And the first benefit is it's inside the client portal. You can have an overview page, which you would ordinarily do in a Word document. Hey, we're here to talk about this. Is there anything else you'd like to know or anything we need to cover as part of our ICT audit? And they'll tell you, you get started. So it's a bit of an icebreaker. And then you get stuck into your audit. So like most of the systems, you can do a traffic light system with our product. So you can categorize the things that you've checked into green, yellow, red. It works really well. Completely agree with it. All the tools do a great job of that in the market. You definitely should be doing it that way, because when you present 10, 15, 20, 30 things to a customer, do you honestly think they remember it? No, they don't. So therefore, color is the kind of thing they walk away going, oh yeah, there was a bunch of red, and oh cool, I'm glad there was green. A few yellow things we need to think about. That's where their brains will be at. They might remember a couple, but they're never going to remember all of it. So that works really well. And you can go through and talk about, put your comments in there. And this is all flowing through from doing an original audit in our system. So your engineers do the audit and you can produce a presentation straight away. Everything's templatized. The audits are templatized. The presentations are templatized. It wants a little bit of setup time and you're good to absolutely pump these out the door super fast. So when you're going through the audit, you can put the licensing in there. You'll put the secure score when it's released in there, the devices in there. You can have a custom page as well. So if you want to do screenshots and or different pages of information, you can do that as part of your report. Now, this is where we differ. Every other product would have, if we were to copy the same, they do this one option, uh, one price approach, right? And so if we were to do that, we would have just put a column here that said investment. And we would have said, oh, that project to go to Office 365 is 5 grand, and the new firewall is $1,500, and the internet's $300 a month. And you would have added it up down the bottom, and the customer would have had their arms crossed, going, awesome. I really appreciate the audit. You've given me an insight into what's wrong and right in the environment. You've given me a bit of a budget. What's the next step? And then the MSP goes, oh, I'll go away and do a quote and come back to you. So yeah, I'll quote you on all of this. Okay, cool. Quote me. So the customer hasn't had to make any decision, and you've actually split up that sales process into into two meetings, which then you've got the risk of the client's interest waning for the second meeting. Plus, they know you're going to hit them up with a quote, which it's here's my $30,000 quote, and it's take it or leave it. And we all know in a buying situation, when a customer is faced with a take it or leave it proposition, all they can do is say yes, no, or go dark. How many times have you done presentations to customers, 20, 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, whatever, a larger number, or even 10 grand, and they just go silent? They go silent. It's because of the way you're selling. This is where these tools have lost the plot because they don't understand sales. And this is really important. Every buyer, every user you talk to in those clients and all your main contacts are just consumers. And in life, we're all conditioned to have options, whether it's toilet paper. Do you want the rough as guts toilet paper? Do you want the Cleopatra toilet paper? Or whether it's petrol or gasoline, do you want premium? Do you want the standard? Do you need diesel? What do you want? Shoes? It doesn't matter. There's always good, better, best. So when you throw a complex quote at someone, and when they know they don't really have the technical skill to warrant them actually negotiating with you, some will, your CFOs will, and those types of people, but 95% will be like, oh, geez, it seems like we've got to do a lot here. I don't know if I've got the budget for it. Well, that slows down the sales process. And if you think about all your clients and all of the stuff they need to do to fix problems in their environment, to fix problems, not to just flog them stuff for the sake of it, that's a pipeline of opportunity. And so when you present the way that all these other tools do, you're slowing down your sales process. And if your number one mandate as a business owner is to grow your business and be profitable, and yet you're handbraking your growth because of poor sales execution, I mean, there's one of the reasons for it. So the example would be that if you had 50 clients and you had arguably 10 to 15 grand, let's say 10 grand, because I can do the math, 10 grand per client pipeline, a couple of devices like desktops, laptops, a new firewall switch, maybe a project to go to Office 365 that you see there, easily 10 grand per client. There's a 500 grand pipeline. What MSPs like my MSP do is that we're efficient as best we can to go and have those conversations with the customer, but then we're efficient in the sales process to get them to make a buying decision. And what inefficient MSPs do is that they're reactive in terms of going to see clients. And when they go out and see the client, they do this one option approach, which just slows down them making a buying decision. So if you want to grow, one of the best ways to do that is to actually have sales efficiency or sales compression. Right? Sales compression. Squeeze your existing pipeline into a shorter period of time, and lo and behold, your revenue increases. That is how you can grow by 500,000 a year, a million a year, even when you're small. When I was small, I remember going from 900 grand to 1.6 million in 1 year through sales efficiency. And that's when we got a quoting tool. That's the mark of those quoting tools in the system. They do make a massive difference. Easier to order products. That is an example of sales compression. When you do it this way, this is the next evolution. You do what we're showing here, which I haven't shown you yet. So how do we solve that problem? This is where we built in a Word document a long time ago a good, better, best approach. Because I sat there going, why are we scaring these customers to go to market? They go to market to get another quote, and they speak to other MSPs because you give them these 20, 30 grand options, right? That's what they'll do. And so essentially I thought, why aren't we doing good, better, best with the recommendations? It makes sense. Like, and we're not playing a hand on price. And this is how the psychology works quickly. You have your entry level, your budget conscious, middle of the road premium buyer, and you're catering to all of those buying personas. The whole idea is to drive them to the middle. You always have the first two prices close together, and this and premium one is a what they call an anchor price. It's usually a lot more expensive, and it's there to make the other two look more affordable. If you just rock up and say it's 25 grand, they're like, whoa. But if you're like, well, it could be 11, could be 25 or 45, the 45 makes the 25 look more affordable. The cool thing about our system is that you can put network diagrams for each of the solutions, and you can go through and click things for the customer. So you can see it's 39 grand. Let's say you think, well, to replace these two servers, this one's just out of warranty, file server, this one's an SQL server. That's my 3 to 5 year solution, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, is to do these two. You can see it's 20 grand. But if you don't have the budget right now for both, this one we could put an extended warranty on it because it's just out of warranty. And let's focus on sorting that out because you have to change it out you have to do something, and we'll circle back on that one. Straight away, that's an example where you can negotiate with them. So that's what you can do with this system. And what ends up happening is you get to the end and you go, hey, uh, based on what you've selected today, is there anything standing in the way of going ahead? And they're like, no, that sounds good. That's what we chose. Cool. Well, my next step's to do a quote. So I'll send that through and we'll go from there. So you've got them to make that 95% buying decision. It's pretty much ready to go in that sense. So you get to the end, you send them the quote. Now you're chasing for sign off with that quote, right? Not trying to have this type of discussion with the customer in a quote, which is what everybody's doing. So you can do the roadmap in our system, and this isn't meant to be Monday.com. It's there just to show visibility of what your plan is. Once you know what the plan is, you update the timeframes of everything, and you're ready to go. So all in this one system, you get that. And what we're building on the other end is the ability. These are the audits here to have assessments in here, and we'll start to templatize. So underneath these audit items, you basically configure the 25 things that you audit, have that as an audit template. Each time you do an audit, you come through, tag the status, put a time frame. You can log a ticket against these things. And underneath here, this is where we're going to build our assessments module. So I'll pause there so we've got time for questions on that side of things. With IT Control Panel, I won't go through and demo it all. If you want to see it in action, just let us know and we'll book in a further demo and we'll show you it working. This is where they can live chat on the front end. If you don't want to do inbound live chat, then just don't have the button. But because you've got the agent there, you can do outbound live chat. You've got secure verification, so you can confirm people's identity, secure messaging. So this is where you can send passwords securely to the agent. You've got push alerts. You can log a ticket, and this is where we're building our meeting functionality for the engineer scheduling in that sense. You've got all these bells and whistles in the IT control panel software there. And this is for your engineers. Yes, it looks like Teams. We weren't overly innovative on design there, but it looks nice, works well. And that is for your engineers. And this is for the end customer. So if you want to have a look at that, book in the demo so you can see your branding in lights and you can see how that whole system would work, and we'll show you all additional bells and whistles, and it'll be good to answer any additional questions in that sense. So getting back to the slide deck so we can finish up with some questions. The investment options, anybody on this webinar, we're actually doing a deal. We normally package up our pricing into feature set, and we will be changing that when we release a few of these products in Q1 and be more expensive, probably Q2 onwards. So just bear that in mind in terms of your decision making. What we've got here is that normally the pricing for all of our features is over here on enterprise, but what we're doing is a deal where you get all of that functionality for the business price. It's no risk, month to month subscription, and this would be your pricing schema you're locked into. And you can see here for the number of users, thinking about vCIO tools and all these other tools, we're really affordable in the scheme of things compared to buying all these individual tools. And really, if you like what you saw today, that is the start of the demo. If you want to set up a trial, then we could book that through. So just let us know. You can go here. Actually, that's the incorrect address. Whoopsie daisies. So it's actually book demo in there. So book demo, if I can type, God. So yeah, go to book demo, and that's where you can book it in to check it all out, and we can answer more questions for you. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's little insight into what Envirosoft's up to. For those existing partners, if there's anything in there you see that you want to help us set up, let us know straight away. We'll get in, we'll do all the setup for you, easy peasy. For anybody new, If you like what you saw, you want to demo or you want to go straight to trial, just let us know.